Hey, what's up, Uday? What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm about to. I'll start. I'll start in a minute or two. I'm just warming up, doing some, you know, trying to figure out if everything is set up correctly. Shunk. Hey, what's up, Shunk? Appreciate that, man. So today's live stream gonna be mostly about grease pencil and storyboarding, right? So we're gonna start learning with grease pencil and how it works, what all you need to know to work with grease pencil, and then we'll learn how to make storyboards using grease pencil, because that's the easiest thing that you can do, right? I mean, sketching and all is fine as well, but storyboarding is something like where you learn how to kind of adjust them on the timeline, your storyboard panels. So you get the knowledge of the timeline, you know how to draw, and you learn a bit about timing and spacing. Timing and spacing, not so much, but timing for sure. Then you will also you may learn also about how to integrate 3D along with grease pencil. I'll try to cover it today. I'm not sure if I can do it, because sometimes just explaining the interface and explaining the shortcuts and all that stuff takes a shit ton of time. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Yeah. Fun fact: before I went live, I asked Grok about what all should I teach in today's live stream, and Grok gave me like a bunch of instructions. Not like really, it's not like they're totally not helpful. They are helpful, but they're a bit jumbled and random at times as well. Alright, so I'm not sure if I should use it for the context of this stream. I think I'll just mostly go with my instincts on how to teach you about the storyboard. And as the things come in, as it keep coming in new things, I'll keep telling you what is all that. There'll be a bunch of shortcuts as well. So who all can understand this stream? It's gonna be mostly about people who have a bit of knowledge about Blender. You need to know a bit of Blender first. Am I late? No, you're not late. You're 4 minutes late actually. Yeah, you're late. You should be here on time. Siddharth, hi Siddharth. But yeah, for those who are here and want to learn grease pencil, you should know a bit about Blender, a little bit. If you're at zero, then it might be difficult for you to understand what's going on. At least you should know how to use 3D in Blender, and if you know how to use a bit of grease pencil as well, that's even better. But yeah, let's start from the scratch. So we're gonna use Blender 4.4 here. Our you gonna be part of Digvijay's Bal Hanuman, and the animation. Sorry for the tangent. No, tangents are fine. It's fine. It keeps the stream fresh. I don't think so. I don't think so, because I have my own thing going on first of all, and then I don't know if even if I work with him, how is it gonna be? Is it gonna be like a collaboration, or unpaid collaboration? It's gonna be like some sort of mutual interest collaboration, and if it's gonna be some sort of paid collaboration, then why would he hire me? He has other people whom he can hire, and they would be much more helpful, resourceful. They would be able to dedicate much more time. So I don't think so it's gonna happen. Nuh-uh. But I know that he's going full time on Bal Hanuman, and it's good for him. All power to him. Go ahead and make that short film. Finish it off. Check it out of your checklist. Okay. So we are using Blender 4.4. For the future versions of Blender, this stream might not work because Blender keeps on changing, and I don't know what all in the grease pencil will change. Am I using shortcut keys? Yes, screencast. So you will see what all keys I'm pressing at here. Right, so that's gonna help you. Now, this is what Blender looks like by default. And just a bit about grease pencil. If you add a grease pencil, by the way, to add an object, you have to press Shift A. This is into 7. This is bad. It should not show into 7. It should be like. Can it not stack? Like if I'm pressing Shift A multiple times, it just stacks over here. Repeat count. I turned it off. Margin, line thickness, mouse size. This is like default plugin that comes along with the Blender that shows keys on the screen. There's history. So 9 times. Yeah, let's go. This is good. Okay. So hide it. Now Shift A to add any new object, and you add a grease pencil. Let's say blank one. Now you can go to draw mode by going to draw. How do you go to draw mode? You can press tab and move your mouse. So this pie menu will open, and then you can hover on any one of them and release your tab. You're holding the tab in the meantime, by the way. So you release the tab and you go into draw mode. So now you can draw. You can barely see anything because it's gray over gray. So now you can see. So if you see, I can actually draw in a 3D viewport. So this is the good thing about grease pencil, that it doesn't give you a separate file or separate environment which is just flat 2D. It's actually 3D environment where you're drawing. So if you go outside the camera, you can actually move around your drawings in the 3D space, and that's incredibly helpful when you're doing storyboard, because so many times you get confused by the character movement within the 3D space or the camera movement, and that's where you can integrate the hand-drawn drawings and the 3D environment, the camera movement. So it really helps. Okay, so we draw here, right? And you can rotate by pressing middle mouse key, and you can draw from the view. Right, so check this out. You can just draw it from any view. Now, what are these strokes, by the way? These strokes are vertices. Now, if you don't know about vertices, then, by the way, I just went into object mode by pressing tab and move your mouse. If you're new to Blender and this doesn't happen, that is because you have to turn on the pie menu from the preferences. So go to edit, preferences, and you'll have to go into, where do you have to go? Key map. In the key map, check all these 3 options. Tab for pie menu on drag, and extra shading pie menu items. What extra shading pie menu items does is, if you press Z and move your mouse, so it shows you all these, material preview and render and wireframe mode. So you can just turn them on from here. No, render mode. it's lagging. I hope my stream doesn't lag because of this. Yeah, Blender froze. Okay, back. No, it's still frozen. Bro, for 2D, why do you use Blender? Why are you not using any other software? Blender is user friendly and everything is possible in Blender still. Yeah, I just answered that actually. Because of the 3D space integration, it makes Blender incredibly helpful when you are storyboarding. सर आप हिंदी में क्यों नहीं समझाते? I don't know. I just don't know. Right, I don't have an answer for that. I was considering to animate my big BG in Blender, as it can be easy. I think it is. Yeah, you're thinking it right. You're thinking it right. Animating background in Blender is easier because of the camera movement. But yeah, so now you know about the shading menu by pressing Z on your keyboard, Z, and by tab you can go into all this edit mode and sculpt mode and draw mode and object mode and whatever. Right, so you go into object mode so that you can select the different object now. And if you go into edit mode now, what you see here is vertices, right? So these vertices join together to make a 3D shape. So you can press G and move them, and you can change the shape of the object. Yeah, pretty simple. We'll be covering a bit of 3D as well because, you know, it's a part of 3D environment. We'll have to cover 3D. We cannot just learn grease pencil by not knowing 3D, by not knowing what's going on inside the grease pencil. I was saying it right. So now if you select grease pencil object and press tab and go to edit mode, what you see here is, I'll have to select. Do I have to select? Yeah, you have to select. So what you see here is bunch of vertices. So all these vertices can be selected and they can be moved into 3D space. You see what I'm saying? So now, grease pencil people were smart. What they did was they took bunch of vertices. As you're moving your mouse on the screen, they're drawing those vertices, right? And they attach something to those vertices that looks like a stroke. Now what is this? I don't know. Maybe some sort of shader or some sort of something that renders in viewport and make it look like a line. But all deep down, these are all vertices that you have in 3D mesh, and that's why you can even convert them into 3D mesh, right? So once you know about how to what grease pencil is actually made of and how do you interact with it in 3D environment, now it would be easier for you to understand what's going on when you're actually working with it, right? Otherwise people get confused with the erasing and the fill tool and they're like, what's going on? Why is it not behaving like 2D? It won't behave like a traditional 2D software because it is made on top of a 3D environment, right? So know that deep down, everything you do in grease pencil is made up on top of vertices. It's a bunch of vertices together, nothing else. Now, anyways, you can select the grease pencil and you can move the grease pencil in the 3D space like a normal object. Rotate it by pressing R. You can rotate it by pressing double R. It rotates on a free axis. And by pressing S, you can scale or descale, make it bigger or smaller, right? Basically scale the object. So that's the very, very basic of your grease pencil object, right? Now, how do you actually go ahead and start drawing, and how do you start making, storyboards? How do you manage layers? How do you animate? Let's dive into all that stuff. How much time do we have left? Okay. So 15 minutes in, and I covered basics of grease pencil. I have 45 minutes left to cover up the storyboard and the drawing and all the tools. I think I can make it. Look at this, by the way. I got a new tattoo. I can see it. You can't see what's going on. Yeah. I got a new tattoo. I went to a tattoo shop and I got my hand tattooed. How does it look? I don't think even you can even see it. It's just my daughter. It's just my daughter. She used a sketch pen on my hand. It's nothing special. I fooled ya. Anyways, moving forward. Yeah. Now, file. Now you can set up your own drawing environment by setting up your own camera, adding your own grease pencil object, making your own grease pencil material which you'll use to draw, then changing the timeline to grease pencil timeline, and then changing the color of the viewport so that it matches more with the paper and it's not that gray, it's like light gray, and then hiding the grid. And I think that's it. But we won't do that, all of that, right? If you wanna, then by all means go ahead, right? But the easier way is just to click on File, New, and 2D Animation. Simple as that. Look at that. So we got like entire new file ready for animation, and it's set up in a. It has like it has its own workspace. This is 2D animation workspace. And you have white background and camera setup, and resolution is set, and everything is like set here properly. You have frame rate set to 24 fps, and then if you go to render settings, do we have render settings set up? No, we don't have render settings here. Sorry, the output file output settings. But yeah, rest everything is done here. So below are your brushes. They used to be here in earlier version of Grease Pencil. They changed it to at the bottom. And one of the reason is now they stay same for all the files. Previously you had, if you made any modification in your brush, that will only stay within the file. So if you go to open a new file, your brush will not be saved. So now you can save your brushes, which is good. But I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't know. And maybe I'm biased, but it's off. It's off. Something's wrong with this. So I generally tend to hide it. And now if you want to open your brushes, you can press Control Shift. Oh, what the hell? Control Shift Space. Yeah, here it is, Shift Space. So you press Shift Space and it opens up all your brushes. So these are draw. If you click on draw, it will open all the. It will show you only brushes, right? Which you can use to draw. If you click on erase, it will only show you erasers, the different kind of erasers. We'll cover all of them, by the way. And then in utilities, you have fill tool. Fill tool is something. Yeah, fill tool is something. You may not like it, but it is here. So if you go to draw, you have different brushes. These two brushes are mine. Yeah, this is visibly mine. You can already see it from the icon. So this is a special brush of mine. This generally Grease Pencil brushes looks like this, right? They're fine. You might be like, oh, what's wrong with them? I don't know. When you draw with them, they feel a little plasticky. They feel a little rubbery. They feel like it's like you're not drawing with a pen or a brush. It's like you're drawing with a plastic tip on a plastic surface. Yeah, it feels like that. It doesn't feel like I mean, compared to raster software, this brush doesn't feel natural, right? Now you can switch to another brush where you have a bit of opacity, and you can turn on the pressure sensitivity of the brush so that you can increase or decrease the size of the brush by clicking over here on this button, small button on the top. But again, look at that. I think you can see it. Something's off here. It's maybe the blending, maybe the opacity doesn't work the way it should. By the way, if you want to have it like opacity control with the pressure sensitivity, so you can click on here. So the strength controls the pressure sensitivity. What did I just say? The strength controls the opacity of the brush. Yeah. So light pressure, and you have like these light strokes, and then the thick pressure, and you have these kind of thicker and darker strokes, and so on. again you can see something's off, right? And oh, what's up with this? What's up with this? You might be like, what's going on? Why is my stroke still sitting on the top, which I drew at first? Shouldn't it be at the bottom? Because you're drawing over it, right? So shouldn't it be like, I'm drawing over it, but it's not going below. So this stream is more like me ranting about Blender rather than teaching about Blender. Yeah, this is I don't want this to be my outlet of Blender complaints, but I just can't help it. Okay, I'll try to be less picky about stuff, and I'll try to be more teachy about stuff. Yeah, I think that's gonna help. So if you don't like it, I mean, again, I started with if you don't like it. How else can I put it? If you don't want it, yeah, if you don't want it, and you're like, yeah, this is fine, but how can we make it even more fine? Yeah, this is a positive note. So you can click on self overlap, and look at that. So that's gone. So now your strokes they kind of just blend into each other, and you can't see what's going on in there if you turn off the self overlap. So the stroke that you drew first stays on the top. I think this is more like a oil paint kind of feel, but me no like it, so me turns on self overlap always, right? So that's materials, by the way. You have to go here. We'll talk about that too. So again, brushes, right? So opacity, and you have this fine line brush which you can use for the cleanup, and then you have some custom brushes that I made. So this brush is special to me because check this out. Ooh, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! So this looks really organic. I'm sounding like weeb, but this is much more natural and much more organic when I look at it. Right, it gives me much better control as well when I draw with it. It feels like it has a bit of texture to it, and it makes it one step closer to like you're drawing on a paper made by myself. By the way, if you want this brush, I'll upload it on that, what's that website name? Gumroad, I think. Yeah, it's Gumroad. So I'll upload it there, and I'll send a link in the story, and you will find it in the description as well, but not today. I'll upload it tomorrow. So I'll update the description. From tomorrow onwards, the brush can be found in the description of this live stream. Yep. Okay. Now there are other brushes as well. There are a bunch of artists out there. That's the best part about open source. There are a bunch of artists who have made like really good brushes, really good looking brushes that almost looks like watercolor painting, or like these raster based brushes. So you can get them. You'll have to search for them over the internet, but if you get your hands over them, then feel free to use it. All you have to do is just drop those brushes in a specific asset folder library that exists in my documents, Blender and assets. I believe that's where it is. And once you drop it there, you'll start seeing it here, over here. If you want to make your own brushes, then you can right click on any one of them and create duplicate asset. Once you duplicate it, you can change like bunch of settings here, like I have changed. You can go into these settings, like bunch of settings. You can just go through them, and once you have made some changes, you can right click and click on save changes to asset. So that's how you save your own brushes. Anyways, holy shit, I'm just taking a lot of time covering the brushes. So are Krita brushes importable? Absolutely not. Any brush from Krita, any brush from Photoshop, Clip Studio Paint, TV Paint, Toon Boom Harmony, Open Toons, Tahoma, Photoshop, Affinity Designer, Adobe, Animate, Premiere Pro, After Effects, none of those brush would work here. You can only have Blender brushes in Blender. Now you might be like, hey, Blender, why did you do that? Blender didn't do it. It's the nature of the software. It's a 3D software. You can't use raster-based softwares brushes here. I'll tell you one of the basic difference between a raster software and the and Blender. So I'm opening Krita. It's gonna take me some time. Yeah, it's opening. I'm waiting. My PC is a bit slow. Okay. So what you see here is a flat canvas. Yeah, it's a flat canvas with a brush that may be vector, that may be again made from all the points, but there is no third dimension to this, right? So you can have an image and you can overlap the image on the brush dot that you get, and those dots combine to make a single stroke. But this is, by nature, this is a 2D software. You cannot rotate it, right? You can move it, you can scale it, but you cannot rotate it. In Blender, it doesn't work that way. You can move it by the way, move is shift middle click, and rotate is zoom in, zoom out is control middle click. But you can also rotate it by just pressing middle click here, right? So these brushes are 3-dimensional in nature, and that's why you can't just use Krita brushes here. You can try to replicate them by copying their textures and stuff, but you'll have to recreate them, right? The brush library cannot be shared. Okay, now coming to the eraser. Now another pain point with the Blender. So the eraser is like this. You can just erase it fairly fine. You can increase or decrease the size of the brush by left and right bracket keys, these square brackets, and the size of the eraser stays the same, right? But what you can do, if you want to erase a large chunk, you can just zoom out really big, and then since the eraser size stays the same, it erases a larger chunk now. So yeah, that's how eraser works. But and you might be like, yeah, this is fine, on the surface level it looks fine, but there's a big problem. Let me complete that. If you go into edit mode, those lines are still here. You see, those were never gone. So the eraser is just reducing the opacity of those lines. It's not actually erasing, which is fine on the surface level. But what will happen if you're making a 2D animation with a lot of frames and colors and shadings, and you keep on erasing like this, over the time your file will get incredibly heavy because of all these hidden strokes that you have. And you might be like, oh, this is just like 20 frames with multiple layers. Why is it lagging? It's lagging because of this. So what we prefer at Studio LKY is we prefer to actually delete those lines and not have them running in the background. To do that, there are multiple erasers. If you press shift space and you go to eraser, so there is like eraser hard, eraser point, eraser soft, eraser something. Generally you have this kind of eraser by default, and to change it you can select the eraser point, which actually get rid of the point. Look at that. So if you go into edit mode now, there is no line, there is nothing left, right? So there is nothing in the background. So that way you can optimize your file a bit better. By the way, did I tell you how to use eraser? You can always select from here, but if you're drawing and you want to erase something, you can press Control on your keyboard and then you can try to draw. So it switches to eraser automatically if you press Control, right? But this is by default the soft eraser that we want. Now stay with me. So what you do is you can change the default eraser for each of these brushes. Now this is going to be confusing. So you can change the default eraser, right, for the brush that you're drawing with. For that, you'll have to go here in the tool, and you see the eraser here, default eraser. From here you can pick up eraser point. Now if you draw something, right, so you have this stroke, and by the way I'm pressing Z to go into the wireframe mode, so that way you'll just see the actual vertices that are being placed, right. And now if you press Control and erase it, they're actually going away, right. So the default eraser is switched, and this is like some of the basic setting that I would like to do before I start storyboarding, because I don't want all this unnecessary stuff. I would like to prepare a script for this so that every time I don't have to do it, but as of now, since it's just switching up the default eraser, so I just do it manually. So let's recap. File, new, 2D animation, don't save, right. So this is the default space that you get, and you can select any of the brush that you want for the storyboarding. Let's say we'll select this one. The bracket keys is to increase or decrease the size, or you can always increase them from here. That works too. For eraser, you have to select this point eraser once and erase it, and then you switch back to brush, go to tool options, then eraser. Instead of soft eraser, select the eraser point, and then while you're drawing, if you press Control, you can erase it by point eraser. Control की से क्या होता है? I think it's quit. Yeah, it's quit. But Blender has a fail-safe that if you press Control Q, it will not just accidentally close your file. Okay. So how to add image in Blender? We'll cover it in a while, right? Not now, in a while. Anyways, done with the brushes, done with the eraser, done with the basic setup. Right now, if you want to change the resolution of your camera, because this is not what we want, you can always change the resolution from here. What is this called? Output properties. So you can change it from 1080 to 1920 vertical resolution, right? It is all of that. And now, so it's at the bottom you have this timeline. So let's say if you draw something 1 here, you can go forward and make sure you have this auto key on, and if you write 2, so it automatically creates a new frame. What you are seeing here, this thing is called what is it called? Onion skin, right? It's called onion skin. You don't want to see it, you can go to grease pencil properties from here, and you can turn off the onion skin. Right, let's keep it for now. Then you can go to further here somewhere and type 3, and then further here type 4. So you have all these frames. That's how you can create frames. If you want to draw over the actually let's not cover it. We'll be going too much into detail. Right, so that's your timeline. We'll cover more about timeline if we get enough time. I think there might be a bit of a noise from a fan. Just a minute. It should be less now. I just noticed the fan was too loud. Sweet water. That's how you stay hydrated. So now if I have to make a storyboard, what I generally do is I start with thumbnailing. So thumbnailing is where I just sketch a lot of frames together, and then I and then I try to arrange them so that they can make a cohesive story. And once I have that, then I actually go towards the camera and put them in the camera along with the timeline, and then I'll try to say whether they're going right with the time, right? So let's start with the thumbnailing first. So file, new, general, 2D animation, and this is what we have. So with the thumbnailing, what I want to do is, I don't want this camera, so we'll select the camera from here, press delete. So camera is gone. Now you're into the open space here and you don't know what to do, right? You can just draw anywhere. So to keep it simple, we'll press 1 on our numpad, keyboard numpad. Right, so when you press 1, it switches to front view. And since you can't see here anything, we need some sort of grid or something to see what's going on. So select the grease pencil, go over here and click on canvas. So it gives you this tiny chintu mintu grid, right? That's not what we want. We want like huge ass grid. So we'll make it 10 by 10. Subdivision would be from 4 to 40, 10 times higher. And this is the grid we have. This is fine. Now we can go to draw mode and we can draw over here, and this is fine. Now what I like to do is, I do not prefer having a square grid. What I want to do is, since I'm making a vertical video, so I'll keep the resolution according I'll keep the grid size according to that vertical resolution. So the ratio of vertical resolution is 9:16. So the scale would go from 9:16. So each one of these grids represent a mobile screen, and I can zoom out, and if I cover 4 of them 2 by 2, right, so I get like a nice little grid at the center, and here I can make my storyboard, thumbnail, or I can go further out and make it 3 by 3. Right, so this is like thirds covered, or I can go further out and make them 4 by 4. So this is a decent size. I think 3 by 3 is fine too. And now you might be seeing what's going on with this new grid that we have that we are just seeing. That's because you have switched from orthographic mode to perspective mode, that you can switch from here. If you click on this and you see this flat grid, that means you're into orthographic mode, otherwise you're into perspective mode. So don't draw in perspective mode, absolutely not recommended. Or you can press numpad 5 as well to switch from orthographic to perspective mode. Okay, so that's done. Now I need a story. To animate a storyboard, right? What do we make? Do you guys have a story for me? Any 2-liners or 3-liners that I can use to make a storyboard? Okay, none. So let's make something. Holy shit. Yeah, my daughter is here. Catching a ball. Okay, yeah, let's make that. Let's imagine a story where so someone is throwing a ball at someone, and that person is trying to catch it, and finally the ball lands on the hand, but it bounces out, and then the hand closes afterwards. So let's try to make that. I'm gonna be a bit more silent from here because drawing, can't talk much while I'm drawing. So even if this is bothering you, these 4 lines, you can just delete them and you can just draw it in the open space, and later on we can enclose it in a frame. So the story is, a person throws a ball, another one catching it, and couldn't. Simple 3 points, right? So let's start with something like, yeah, there's a kid. So hand goes like this, yeah. Yeah, let's keep it here. Also, I don't like this rectangular selection, so you can change it from here to the circular or the lasso selection. I like it this way. So this, and then he throws the ball, right? So it's gonna be the same camera angle, so we'll not use it. We'll not draw it again, since it's just thumbnailing. And when he throws the ball, we need to show it goes up in the air. Maybe we need a different camera angle where he throws it and shit. This poor eraser again. Eraser point. So you throw it like this, right? So it goes from here to here, and here goes the head, and here comes the other arm. Yeah. Okay. All right, and maybe another camera angle. So right now I'm not thinking about what all camera angles do I need, right? It's not like a linear storytelling. I'm just drawing everything, whatever I can think of, and then later on I'll filter out what all needs to be gone. It's better if we start enclosing it now. By the way, you can select the strokes, like you can select the stroke, move them around by pressing G on your keyboard, scale them by pressing S, and rotate them by pressing R. So you can do all of that. And that's what I like most about Blender, because you're just too free when it comes to actually plan out something. It's just so open and so free that you don't have to restrict yourself with the canvas size, or you don't have to limit yourself with the amount of space that you get. You can just draw anywhere you want, and this is the canvas that we have created. Even you can go here and draw something, no one's stopping you, so it's like almost like an infinite canvas. And that to me is wonderful when it comes to planning out something. So this guy is like thrown the ball up in the air, and the other guy is over here, and he's trying to catch it, right? One thing that is still not set up is where like is he playing with someone or not? So that's not set up. We'll try to see, right, if we can figure out something in the future. We can just keep on drawing them. Right, so now this guy should be a bit confused or scared. To delete any stroke, you can select them, press X and delete it. The next camera should be yeah, ball coming towards him. Alright, so ball coming towards him, and then his hands. And now we can just duplicate the same frame again, right? So what you do is you press Shift D and you move it by pressing X, right? So the ball goes down here and it bounces back. And the hand closes here. And the ball kind of goes here over. Right, so it goes out, and that's it. I think this is more than enough for now, right? Since we have to cover a bit after that as well. Now you can try to rearrange them. Maybe like this shot need not to be here at all, and we can just have this and this. These frames are more than enough. So he throws a ball, right, and the other person is catching and the ball is coming towards him. Or maybe we can have this shot in between here. So the ball goes up and then goes down, reaches toward him, and then he cannot catch it, right? So this is like a single shot now, continuous shot. Yeah, so you can do it like that as well. Now so this is like basic thumbnailing. But what if you want to make it into multiple layers and you want to make it into a storyboard? So for that, let's try to arrange it on in front of a camera. Yeah. So we'll add a camera that we deleted. So select on the camera collection, press Shift A, and add a camera here. Now obviously the resolution needs to be 1080 by 1920 here, right? And it creates the camera somewhere here. You can move it by pressing or you can go over here and you can move it a little back to maybe -5. Now if you press 0 on your keyboard, right, numpad 0, then you can switch it to camera view. So now what you'll have to do is select all these drawings, move one of them here at the center and scale it. right? Something like this. Now, now remember, this is just for the thumbnailing. Don't do it for the storyboard. For storyboard, you'll have to create another file where you'll have to draw them again with better figures, better drawings, and you can split them into multiple layers so that you can have like foreground or background mentioned in the storyboard. So now you go to next frame by pressing forward or backward arrow key, and you move it from here to here. Right, again I'm pressing G to move it, and then here and here. Before doing this, you'll have to make sure that your thumbnails, they actually make sense. And that's it. Right, now we can go into object mode. With the camera, I don't want to see the rest of this thing, so with the camera selected, I can go to data here in the camera and open up the viewport display, and the setting which is said pass per out, you can increase it to 100%, which is 1. Now you can just see your drawings and nothing else, right? And now you can turn off this onion skin by just clicking on this button, shows overlay, or you can press Z on your keyboard and toggle the overlays from here. So now, yeah, check this out. So this guy throws the ball, the other guy is catching it, the ball goes up, comes down, and boom. Right, so that's the that's very short story that is made out of those thumbnails. Now if you want to take it a step further, right, so what you can do is, let's create a new Blender file. I'll try to sketch 1 or 2 frames that will tell you how to make storyboards in a brand new file, right, with layers and everything. And then you can use that knowledge to create the entire storyboard by yourself, because I don't think I will be able to cover everything in today's stream. I wanted to cover 3D backgrounds as well, but I don't think I will be able to. So 1920 by 1080, and we have the stroke here. So now let's understand a bit about layers, right? So we have this data over here. When you select the grease pencil, that this pops up. So if I click here, you see 2 layers here, lines and fills. So I would like to delete the fills at all, and this one will be L1, which is line 1, right? And here I'm gonna make my storyboard. So now since we have the reference, which is this, I'll just use that reference, and I'll create a character that looks more like my character now. It should be looking up. Again, for the eraser, I'll have to do this manually every single time. I wish I don't have to, but it's the necessity. And unfortunately, even in the future versions of Blender, they are not bringing it anywhere like this. I don't think this issue is being addressed, so we'll have to do it manually for for a pretty long time until they try to fix it. Yeah, so let's say this is the character in the front, and now you can add a background in the back. So this is going to be L2, and this goes down here. So you can either drag it. Can you drag it? Yeah, you can drag it. So you can drag it down, or you can use these two small buttons as well. Now here I need a background, so it will be mostly, you know, the sky that will be visible with a bit of a trees at the bottom because they are in the park. Yeah, so this is going to be the background. Now if you want to color your environment, let's say you just want to make it into two tones, you know, the grayscale and the white. So we need two fill layers between these. So this is going to be F1, which is fill 1, which will work for the character, and the other one would be F2, which is fill 2, that will work for the environment. Now if you want to fill the colors, you cannot just take a bucket and fill the color. This is not how Blender is going to work. You have to have enclosed space for the fill to work. Also, there are a bunch of things. So what for storyboard, what I would recommend is do not use the fill bucket tool. Instead, use material which is solid fill, right? You select this material, and if you draw, you'll get like this lasso fill tool, right? So you can just draw it like this, and you can even change the color by maybe something like this, not like that dark gray. And now if you want similar material for your white color, so you can click new, and instead of stroke you can click on fill and select the fill color to be white. A bit confusing, but once you do it once or twice, you will get used to it. And then for this one, you can just select the F1 layer and draw over it. Now if you don't want to accidentally do anything on the different layer, I would recommend going to this small drop down button and click on auto lock inactive layer, so your other layers stay locked, so you don't accidentally draw or erase anything over the other layers. Yeah, so this is here, right? Now if you, so this is a single panel of the storyboard. Now you want to make a second panel, so you can go here, whatever your timings are, and now you'll have to click by selecting the solid stroke, and you click and draw, so it creates a new frame. But it only creates new frame for the current layer that is selected. For the rest of the layers, you'll have to manually make all of them. So that's one of the, you know, I would say disadvantage, where you'll have, if you have like 6-7 layers, then you'll have to make them 6-7 times every time you create a new frame. The other option would be unlock these layers. Maybe can you do that? No, you cannot. So the other option could be, you can have this, you know, duplicate. You can duplicate this empty keyframe somewhere at the end, and wherever you want to draw now, right, let's say on this frame, so once you unlock all of them, you can just duplicate that frame over here. So that is a bit less tedious compared to unlocking all of them and creating one blank frame for each of them, right? Now how do you duplicate the frames? It's simple. You can just like select that and press Shift D. Shift D is for duplicate, even in the viewport, even in the timeline. So that's how. Even for if you want to move the frames, just like in the viewport, you can press G to move those frames here and there. So that's how you deal with the timeline. Yeah. Now I'm ending it at a bit of a fast note because I realized midway through the half that I don't have that much of time to cover everything. But yeah, that's how you can create storyboards, right? And there's a different method as well where you use there's this thing called video sequence editor. So you have bunch of scenes. Each one of those scenes have grease pencil object placed into it along with camera, and you put all those scenes into video sequence editor, and you go inside them, each of those sequence, and you edit the grease pencil, and then it reflects back into the video sequence editor. I tried it and then I was like, nah, this is too disconnected. I would need something where I can quickly edit stuff, where I can quickly manage stuff, and I can see everything in front of my eyes. It doesn't have to hide behind the scenes. That's why I don't use that. I use this method. Yeah, this works better with me. But yeah, that's all about the grease pencil and storyboard. I could cover a lot more. I could make like 4 hours of live stream on this. There's so much to cover. But for 1 hour, this is decent enough. This is good enough. And I think this should get you started. If you still face any doubts, you leave your doubts in the comments, right? And any one of us would answer it. Yep. Somebody's asking, course ka kya hua? I need a video editor to complete the course. I realized I kept on recording, and then I was like, who's gonna edit this shit ton of hours of recording? I have like 10 hours of recording, and we'll have to make it like into an hour. So somebody has to sit down, listen to that 10 hours of course, and chop off it into 1 hour. This is something, this is where I have to figure out. We definitely need a video editor, a good one, right? Yeah, let's see how it goes. It needs to be planned carefully. Okay. Do you have any drawing courses for beginner? No, I don't have any courses. There's no course at all. The only thing I have in terms of teaching is these live streams. That's it. Can you make different scenes in single file? Yeah, that's what I was telling you. So you can make different scenes. Like you can in here, in this on top of this, you have scene. So you can duplicate it and create new scene, right? So this is brand new scene now, without anything into it, and you have to place all these grease pencil objects. But if you don't want to, you can duplicate this, and you can say full copy, right? So full copy creates a duplicate of the entire scene, and it doesn't link anything back to the original scene. So whatever changes you make here stays here, and it will not go back to the original scene. And then these scenes can be put down into video editing here. So you can press Shift A and scene, and you can add that scene here. Right, and you can adjust the timeline, so like this one, and then you can have a second scene, let's say scene 001, where you can do like bunch of stuff and duplicate that scene again. So there's a full copy again for that, and go to video edit, Shift A, scene, and scene 001. Right, so now this is how it goes. Now what the hell? Oh, I think I know what's the problem. Because this frame needs to go in the beginning. Yeah. Oh, that's shit. Scene 001. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's so confusing. It gets so confusing at times that you don't know which scene you're editing, and you have to like keep on track on what's going on. So this and that, and scene 1 had something, but it doesn't have that now. I don't know what's going on, but this is the way you have like multiple scenes, and I think there was a way to edit them as well with some sort of, there was a grease pencil plugin that makes it happen. So you can edit them on the fly, and then it opens up in a new window the grease pencil thing, and you can edit it there and you close it and it reflects back to the scene. I didn't like that workflow, to be honest. Yeah. Can you teach me camera animation in more details? Maybe I'll create another live stream where I'll just tell you how to deal with 3D objects and camera animation. You know, how to plan your backgrounds for storyboard and how to animate camera. I need a solid example for that. The reason I can't just do it on the fly is because I need to have a solid story, some sort of, maybe some sort of running happening or something. And once I have it planned properly, then I can animate the camera. If I just animate it, it will look like, just some random stuff that's going by. So it won't work. Can we render into PNG sequence and adjust timing in video sequencer? Yes, you can. You can, in fact, add a lot of PNG sequences here. That's totally allowed. You can press Shift A and you can click on image sequence, and then you can navigate it to your PNG sequence. So you can do that, and that's what we have been doing. Once we make the storyboard, we import the PNG sequence here along with the sound, and then we place it with the sound, right? So that's what we do. But we just animate everything in one single scene, all the storyboard panels, everything. It just animates it here so that it's easier for us to navigate them or make any changes to them. Okay, so I think that's gonna do it for for today's live stream. And if you have any doubts, again, you can leave them in the comments. We'll try to answer them. For the brushes, you will see them tomorrow in the description. Yeah, there's only one brush, by the way. And I will see you guys again next week's live stream. Next week is mostly gonna be FX live stream that we were planning to a week ago, but couldn't happen because of the bad weather. So Deep, who was going to be the guest of the live stream, he will be here next week, and mostly it's gonna be next Tuesday, not Monday. Yeah. So yeah, I'll see you on next Monday then. Next Tuesday. And I hope you guys have a good night's sleep. Bye.